What I am saying is that the professionalism that has not, or excuse me, the unprofessionalism that this company has shown has led us to this decision. Today we started off the day with something we felt like we had to do. We woke up this morning and called our pool company after the whole Zoom meeting with the students and decided to cancel our service. There's a little bit of a backstory that goes with this, not to get too in detail with it, but when we first purchased the house, we had a guy who would come around who came in. It was a little sketchy at first, but he just kind of wanted to reach out to people in the neighborhood since he had a couple of houses in here anyway. And he was literally a one-man person that was doing his own pool cleaning service. Something happened with him to where he had to either leave because his mom got sick or something, to the point where he had to leave the area and he could no longer service the pools that were being done in the neighborhood. With that, before he just left, he brought someone in, said that, hey, all my accounts are going towards this pool company. And he brought that person, that technician, to the house and let him know what's going on, let him know all the stuff that he has done to our pool, and basically let him know when to do the service and what exactly to do. The pool company that allowed this took over, and for a while, everything was fine. A few months ago, we started noticing that our pool was not being cleaned. Well, it's been more than just a few months. It's an ongoing thing, but we noticed that our pool was not being cleaned. It started getting to the point where it was so dirty and so murky that it started turning a little bit green. My wife emails the company. Company gets back to her. Oh, okay, we'll send someone out. We've done this whole back and forth to the point where approximately 3 weeks ago, a new technician from the same company came out and looked at the pool, was like, dude, what's going on here? And so he basically asked me what was going on. I said, hey, I haven't seen anybody for at least a month. We have rings on the patio. We have ring outside the front gate. We haven't seen anybody in the last month. No one's been servicing anything. So he went ahead and shot the pool to get the chlorine balanced back up so that there would be no algae growing. Problem is, when he took the filter out to clean, our filter was so disgusting and hadn't been cleaned for, it looked like, months, that it basically was, in his terms, unusable. Now, I don't know if I agree with unusable, but should we have gotten a new one? Yeah. It calls back to his pool company, or the company, and they said that we would have to get a new filter, we would have to get a new pump and replace the filter, and they could do it for a measly $575. Now, our pump is old, but we had work done to it where it's basically new parts into the same pump, and that was done a few years back. Our pump's been working fine. The issue was, and this guy was explaining to me, the issue was, it's a one filter pump. And you put the filter in the middle, and then there's a rod that goes right down the middle and screws in to keep the filter in place. And then the top of the pump goes in there, and then you screw it tight. The issue, he said, is that he couldn't see down to screw the middle part in, and the top didn't fit perfect, so he had to mess with it for a little bit. And when I say a little bit, I mean like maybe 5 minutes. So from what I heard, and he kept saying, I don't have time to take that out and do it and put it in and mess with it because I got more houses to hit. Okay, I understand. I'm not your usual customer. You're doing this for the company and you're picking up shifts for whoever it was that decided not to come anymore. I understand that, and I didn't fault this guy for that, but what I did fault him for was the fact that he wasn't even trying to put it on. He got to the point where he's like, if you buy the filter, I can come put it in, but then I gotta call a technician out to come. No, he's giving me the runaround, and I wasn't really happy with that. He stopped coming 2 weeks ago. Or no, excuse me. He came for a week. He came the next day to make sure it was doing the thing it does, put more chlorine in, and then he left. came in 2 weeks ago, went into the water with a net to get the leaves out, didn't add any chlorine, didn't check the pump, and he left. Since then, we haven't seen him at all. Now, if you haven't figured out by now, your boy is a little bit perturbed. My wife and I have been emailing the company back and forth. You know, they said, oh, well, we're going to give you a quote. And the guy this whole time said it wasn't going to be that much to fix the pool. And maybe to him, a pool technician, and again, I'm not trying to demean his job, but from my understanding, pool technicians aren't making millions of dollars. So $575 of a fix, that could be a pretty good bit of change, and he should understand that. He looked at me like I was the one that was crazy and said, well, I can only do so much without you doing that. When we contacted the company, and when we pay for our services, we pay for the service we get. The issue was we didn't get service for a month, and when I had a conversation with them outside about the pump, I asked them, hey, do you guys normally, can you tell me what comes with a normal weekly service? What are we paying for this amount of money? He's like, well, you're paying for the chemicals, you're paying for us to come in weekly, you're paying for us to make sure the pool's maintained. And I was like, okay, does that pool include you taking out and making sure that the filter is being properly washed and all that? And this is his downfall, because he said, yeah, of course. And so I asked him, when's the last time that looked like it was washed or maintained? And he looked at me, he's like, that's several months of it not being taken out and properly. And I said, all right. So right there, I stopped my conversation with him. I went inside, we emailed the pool company, we said we don't mind paying for the replacement, but we need to get a discount because, number one, the filter, even though it needed to be new, we felt like it should have been discounted there. Number two, we should get $75 off the replacing the pump, because we paid every month up to that point, and it had been well over a month before we got any service, and we had to reach out to them. And this has been nonstop a one-way street. We've been reaching to them, and they've only been replying very randomly. The last email my wife sent was April 10th or 11th. They haven't reached back since then. Okay, you've already decided that you're not going to work for us, even though you've cheated us out at least a month, if not 2 months out of work. And again, you're lucky I don't have everything off of Ring. Number two, you're telling me because your mistakes and the person, well, not your, but your technician's mistakes led to the crumbling of my filter to where it should have lasted a little bit longer. I'm not saying give me a free filter. I'm not saying give me free stuff. What I'm saying is do the right thing and take away, subtract the balance that we paid when we weren't even getting service from that filter. They weren't even responding to anything. They didn't give us a response. They didn't take a second out of the day. And I understand that they might be busy. The world has stopped for the most part, and I get that this isn't the most important thing that's going on in the world, but the fact is we're still paying. And if we're still a paying customer, we should at least get the response like, hey, we're looking into things, give us a couple of days. No, none of that. Listen, I'm a teacher. I have to sit there at my table for an hour and a half every single day. I have to grade after that hour and a half. I have to do lesson plans. My life doesn't stop. And I have dogs that are here that I have to maintain. I have a wife that I have to help out. And I have a whole house to maintain while under quarantine. My life hasn't stopped. I understand that your life hasn't stopped. I'm not saying putting everything down make me your number one priority. What I am saying is that the professionalism that the unprofessionalism that this company has shown has led us to this decision. Since they didn't reach out for anything, my wife posted on her social media asking about pool companies around here. It's South Florida. They're a dime a dozen. And my wife's coworker, her ex-husband, who she's in still a very amicable relationship with, as far as like they're still friends, they still get along, they still, talk and stuff, has a pool company. And he's sending someone out tomorrow morning to figure this out and to see. And not only does this, I charge less than the company that we were paying, he has reviews that, is pretty good. And then on top of that, the fact that we know someone who owns the company. We know his ex-wife, who he's very, very much still in touch with. That makes it feel like we have someone that can communicate if something's going wrong. Let this be a lesson to you to not sit down and just continue to pay for things that you don't receive. One of my good friends, or one of my guys that I always play games with, you guys will hear him in the videos, Chomp. He's having the same issue, but it's his internet. And he's to the point now, he was telling me, it's funny, we were just playing games. He was saying how his wife made contact with Comcast finally, and they finally called him back after, it feels like months now, but it probably is weeks of playing phone tag and not getting back to him. And they said, oh, it's going to be 3 months before we get out there. And so my friend told his wife to tell him, hey, we're going to cancel. We're going to go with this. And right when they threaten to cancel, Comcast comes back, the manager comes back and says, oh, well, we'll send someone out tomorrow. And I told him, if you had any possibilities of cutting service and that you could get the same quality rate that you would with Comcast, and they did that to you, I would have still just canceled it. Even if it was getting better service for the same price, I would have canceled it, just because the fact is, you don't cheat people that pay their bills. You offer service. And again, I understand everyone's not the top priority here. You're going to put a multi-million-dollar deal above someone who's, just a regular paying customer. I get that. But the fact is that, I've experienced this for over a month. He's experienced it for over a month. It's getting to the point where has society gone to where we have to deal with this? A little bit irritated. No one ever made contact with us, and so the pool company that we had our gate key, and we called them this morning, told them to return it, that we're stopping service. We've been holding off because we just wanted answers of paying for this month's service. They decided not to come and even clean the pool. They just left the key and skedaddled. So we're withholding this month's service because we haven't received anything really. And not only that, but we didn't get any reimbursement for the months that we paid. We didn't get any service. So it went on to pool companies, and what I'm seeing is the same problems from multiple people. There's like at least 100, if not more, reviews, and most of them are 2 and 1 stars recently. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna just degrade the company, because when we first used it, it was great. People were doing what they were supposed to. We got what we were supposed to. We paid for the services, and we were happy. Over the last couple months, I'm theorizing that the company got bought out by somebody, and when you look at the company, it's ran through a house. It's not an actual office. And I get that some people work out of their house, but a company this big with this many technicians probably would be ran through an actual business. What I'm seeing is the same complaints that all homeowners that have written a review within the last 6 months are experiencing, other than the very few positive reviews. One thing that's kind of worrisome that I'm not really worried about, because I have the physical proof through Ring, is that the people had withheld their paychecks or their payments for the services, and the company went after them legally and put a lien on people's houses. We never got reimbursement for the money that we paid in towards the months that we never received service. And we're lucky enough to where we have the Ring, and the Ring never picked up for like a month to 2 months. I haven't looked in it completely. I know for at least a month for sure. So we called about the key, and the guy never came or knocked on the door. When I just went out to return the garbage cans in to make sure they're not out in the street, the key was in the gate, and we thought all day that we were going to have to call the guy or the company back again. And I told my wife, if we have to call the company back, I'm threatening with the police, because to me, I don't want someone to have access to my gate and the gate has access to the main door. I don't want someone who I don't know their workers. I don't know if they do a background check. I don't know these people personally. So and I'm fine with them having, if they're my service, they should have a key. They shouldn't have to wait on me, all that good stuff. I don't want someone who might be, or a company who might be upset with me for terminating them, to have access to my house. I think everybody in the same situation would be the same way. And if you're not, you need to be careful with the people that you trust. People's lives change when things happen to them. I'm a little bit more skeptical with people. I'm glad that, the guy was nice enough to put it on the inside of the gate, but at the same time, why not just knock on the door? I'm glad I don't have to make another phone call. I'm irritated that we have to have someone else come out, but I'm hopeful that this new company will be awesome. They'll do what they need to do. And even if we do have to get the pump serviced, we'll at least have someone that might be a little bit better. So with that being said, for you business owners out there, for you guys that are, doing giveaways on YouTube or wanting to do your own business or whatever it is that how this relates to you, thing that I will say is that I'm a very fair person. I don't feel that people should be giving out anything. I feel that I'm someone who always pays my bills. I'm someone who always tries to do the right thing. So since companies get paid and hold their clients accountable, it should work the other way around to where clients hold their companies accountable. And if you're one of those people that run your own business or one of those people that is working for the businesses, if they're doing something shady, you don't want to be one of the people that's associated with that business. Like I said earlier, the company that we were paying, that we were using, is being shady. The guy that came out, the pool technician that just came out, that I had a little bit of an issue with, I didn't have an issue with him because he was a bad person. I had an issue because he was a representative of the company. And he even told me, it's not like a company that he logs in and checks in with. They do everything through their phone. They log in apps, and it's basically like you go in and the company assumes that you did the right thing and pays you for those actions. World's come to a weird place, but if you're a person that runs a company, please do the right thing by your clients. If you're a client that's withholding stuff, if they're doing the service, pay your stuff. With that being said, guys, this has been a little bit of a thought process, a little bit of a ramble. Some of this is going to go on the quarantine. Some of it's not. This might be its own video. But with that being said, that's Thursday. What a day.